The Villages, Florida, a sun-drenched haven for the retired, bubbling with aqua aerobics and golf carts. It's here, amidst the manicured lawns and endless shuffleboard courts, that four unlikely comrades found themselves sharing a roof. Jojo, a Texan with a drawl as thick as molasses and a spirit wilder than a rodeo bull, had convinced his companions to dive headfirst into this strange new world. Andy, a Brit with a stiff upper lip and a penchant for tea, found the whole Florida retirement scene a tad bizarre. GG, a native Floridian with a tan as deep as his roots and a laid-back demeanor, knew the lay of the land like the back of his hand. Completing the quartet was Anthony, a gruff ex-cop from the streets of New York City, seeking solace from the urban jungle in the tranquil, albeit slightly surreal, embrace of the Villages. Their shared abode, a sprawling ranch house with a lanai overlooking a golf course, became a melting pot of personalities and backgrounds. Laughter, often fueled by cultural misunderstandings and Jojo's outrageous tales, echoed through the house. They were an eclectic bunch, brought together by fate and a shared sense of adventure. Little did they know, their lives were about to get a whole lot more colorful and a lot more dangerous. The Villages, with its meticulously planned streets and seemingly endless sunshine, held secrets beneath its placid surface.
See that? That's the Loofah code. Means that old geezer's looking for some ... com panty.
You mean to tell me that these pensioners are signaling their ... intentions ... with bath products?
And you're sure about this, GG? Sounds like a load of...
Trust me, there's more to this town than meets the eye, and I aim to find out what makes these loofahs tick.
GG, ever the observant one, noticed these colorful bath accessories popping up everywhere, displayed with an almost ceremonial reverence. Intrigued, and perhaps a tad terrified, the four men delved into the hidden world of the Village's Loofah code. The audacity of it all. To think that beneath the veneer of bingo nights and early bird specials, a vibrant, albeit slightly wrinkled underbelly of desire thrived. Jojo, ever the entrepreneur, saw an opportunity. Gentlemen, he declared, a glint in his eye, we're sitting on a gold mine. Or should I say, a loofah mine. Thus began their foray into the lucrative and highly illegal world of loofah manufacturing and distribution. They set up shop in their garage, transforming it into a clandestine dyeing operation. The air grew thick with the scent of fabric dye and ambition as they experimented with colors and patterns, each hue representing a different desire, a different fantasy. Word spread like wildfire through the Village's grapevine. Soon, their custom-made loofahs, each one a vibrant beacon of intention, were flying off the makeshift shelves. Business was booming, and for a while, it seemed like they had struck gold. But they had underestimated the forces at play. The Villages, they were about to discover, were not as peaceful as they seemed. The loofah trade, it turned out, was a tightly controlled enterprise, overseen by a shadowy cabal known only as the Loofah Mafia. The garage, once a haven for golf clubs and dusty tools, transformed into a hive of entrepreneurial energy. Jojo, with his Texan swagger and infectious enthusiasm, became the self-proclaimed CEO of their little operation. Andy, ever the pragmatist, took charge of logistics, meticulously organizing orders and deliveries with a spreadsheet for every occasion. GG, his local knowledge proving invaluable, became their man on the ground, navigating the social circles of the Villages with the grace of a seasoned social butterfly. Anthony, his gruff exterior hiding a sharp mind, kept a watchful eye on their burgeoning enterprise, ensuring they stayed one step ahead of any potential threats. Their loofahs, unlike the mass-produced sterile offerings found in supermarkets, were imbued with a certain artisanal charm. Each one was hand-dyed, the colors vibrant and distinct, catering to every whim and desire whispered within the retirement community. They experimented with patterns, swirls, and even personalized initials, turning everyday bath accessories into coveted symbols of a rekindled lust for life. Word of mouth, that ancient and potent marketing force, spread through the Villages faster than a golf cart on a sugar rush. Soon, their clientele expanded beyond their wildest dreams. Retirees, once resigned to the beige monotony of retirement living, embraced the Loofah code with an enthusiasm that surprised even our protagonists. Their garage door, usually the domain of gardening tools and forgotten bicycles, became a clandestine marketplace, buzzing with hushed transactions and knowing winks. The financial rewards, while initially modest, quickly surpassed their expectations. What began as a lark, a way to inject some excitement into their retired lives, blossomed into a thriving enterprise. They celebrated their success with lavish barbecue parties by the pool, the air thick with the scent of grilling steaks and the sweet smell of success. Little did they know, their good fortune was about to attract unwanted attention.
Bandanas, Jojo. Are you sure about this?
Jojo's onto something. We can create a whole new code, one that's even more nuanced and liberating.
As their Loofah empire flourished, Jojo, never one to rest on his laurels, saw an opportunity to expand their market. "Gentlemen," he announced one sweltering afternoon, "we've cornered the Loofah market, but there's a whole world of unspoken desires out there, just waiting to be expressed." His solution? Bandanas. "Think about it," Jojo explained, his Texan drawl laced with entrepreneurial zeal. "Loofahs, while effective, are limited in their messaging. But bandanas? With bandanas, we can offer a whole spectrum of options, a veritable rainbow of desires." And so they embarked on their next venture, crafting and distributing bandanas imbued with their own unique code. Each color, each pattern represented a specific desire, a secret handshake between like-minded individuals navigating the complex landscape of senior dating in the villages. The bandanas, worn discreetly tied to golf bags, walkers, or even wheelchairs, became the hottest commodity in town. Their success, however, was short-lived. The Loofah Mafia, their noses put out of joint by this upstart competition, took notice, and they weren't about to let some newcomers muscle in on their territory without a fight.
"We've got competition," he growled, examining the gruesome offering, "and they're not playing around."
The Loofah Mafia, he muttered. They ain't fond of competition, especially not the kind that's cutting into their profits.
Andy nearly fainted at the sight, while Anthony, his cop instincts kicking in, immediately went on high alert.
The first sign of trouble came in the form of a severed pig's head, strategically placed on their doorstep one Tuesday morning.
The villages, it turned out, were ruled by a shadowy cabal of geriatric gangsters who controlled the lucrative trade of adult accessories for the retirement community. They operated under the guise of a seemingly innocuous gardening club, but behind the hydrangeas and prize-winning roses lurked a ruthless criminal enterprise. The Loofah Mafia's message was clear: back off or face the consequences. But our protagonists, their entrepreneurial spirit fueled by a healthy dose of Texan grit and a refusal to be intimidated, refused to back down. They had tasted success, and they weren't about to let it slip away without a fight. A turf war was brewing in the villages. A clash of generations and ideologies played out against the backdrop of shuffleboard courts and early bird dinner specials. And at the center of it all were four unlikely heroes, armed with nothing more than their wits, their entrepreneurial spirit, and an arsenal of colorful bath accessories. Jojo, never one to shy away from a challenge, saw an opportunity in the escalating conflict. "If they want to play dirty," he declared, his eyes gleaming with mischief, "then we'll have to play dirtier." His plan? A daring heist. A surgical strike against the Loofah Mafia's stranglehold on the retirement community's illicit desires. Their target, the clandestine factory where the Loofah Mafia manufactured their illicit goods, a nondescript warehouse on the outskirts of the villages, hidden in plain sight amongst a cluster of RV dealerships and discount furniture outlets. The plan was audacious, bordering on insane, but Jojo, fueled by a potent cocktail of Texan bravado and entrepreneurial zeal, was undeterred. He assigned each member of his team a critical role, their diverse skills and backgrounds converging in a symphony of strategic brilliance. GG, his local knowledge and network of contacts proving invaluable, would gather intel on the Loofah Mafia's movements, tracking their delivery routes and identifying security vulnerabilities. Andy, his meticulous nature and penchant for organization, would devise a foolproof plan to infiltrate the factory, mapping out escape routes and disabling security systems with the precision of a military strategist. Anthony, his years on the force honing his instincts and tactical skills, would provide surveillance and backup, his watchful eye ensuring their safety in the face of danger. The stage was set, the pieces in place. A battle for the soul of the villages was about to begin. A clash of loofahs and bandanas, of youthful rebellion against geriatric tyranny. The humid Florida night throbbed with the chirping of crickets and the distant hum of air conditioners battling the oppressive heat. Under the cloak of darkness, our four unlikely heroes prepared for their most daring mission yet, infiltrating the heart of the Loofah Mafia's operation. Tension crackled in the air, thick as the Spanish moss hanging from the ancient oak trees surrounding their ranch house.
Gentlemen, tonight we dance with destiny. I still think this is utterly mad.
Relax, mate. It's just like old times. Except instead of spray paint and punk rock, we're armed with loofahs and a whole lot of gumption.
Let's just get this over with. With a final nod, they piled into Gigi's beat-up pickup truck, the engine rumbling to life like a caged beast eager for release. Their destination, a nondescript warehouse on the outskirts of the villages, a place where dreams went to die and brightly colored loofahs were born.
Time for a little sonic sabotage.
S3, I'm in position. Security is light, but they've got dogs. Big ones.
We're in. The digital gates are open. The Loofah Mafia's factory loomed before them, a concrete monolith bathed in the eerie glow of security floodlights. The air hung heavy with the scent of industrial chemicals and a faint hint of jasmine, a strangely discordant combination that spoke volumes about the bizarre nature of their mission. Inside the factory, the strains of anarchy in the UK sent shockwaves through the geriatric workforce, their usual rhythm of loofah dyeing and bandana sorting disrupted by the unexpected blast of rebellious energy. Confusion reigned as supervisors, their hearing aids overwhelmed by the sonic assault, struggled to restore order. Taking advantage of the chaos, Andy, his fingers dancing across the keyboard of his laptop, hacked into the factory's security system, disabling cameras and alarms with the ease of a teenager navigating a video game.
Jojo, his loofah suit rustling with every step, crept through the shadows, the factory floor bathed in the flickering glow of emergency lights. The air hung thick with the scent of fear and industrial-strength fabric dye, a heady combination that did little to calm his nerves. He clutched the flamethrower, its cold metallic surface a stark contrast to the absurdity of his mission. He reached his objective, a towering stack of cardboard boxes, each one filled with the Loofah Mafia's illicit wares, ready to be distributed throughout the villages, spreading their insidious message of conformity and control.
Time to send a message.
With a flick of his wrist, a jet of flame erupted from the flamethrower, engulfing the cardboard boxes in a roaring inferno. Flames danced and swirled, casting grotesque shadows on the factory walls, the air thick with the acrid stench of burning cardboard and melting plastic. The loofahs, caught in the updraft, rained down around him, a kaleidoscope of colors against the backdrop of the inferno. The fire alarm blared, its shrill wail a counterpoint to the fading strains of God Save the Queen emanating from Gigi's strategically placed boombox. Panic erupted as the Loofah Mafia's geriatric workforce, their escape routes blocked by the inferno, scrambled for safety. Jojo, his mission accomplished, melted back into the shadows, leaving behind a scene of utter chaos and a message that would not be ignored.
"We gotta get out of here!" Andy yelled, his voice barely audible above the roar of the flames and the panicked shouts of fleeing geriatrics.
Gigi, his cool demeanor finally cracking under pressure, slammed the pickup truck into gear, the engine roaring in protest as he spun the vehicle around, heading for the factory gates.
"We've got company," he barked, his voice tense. "A van coming in hot from the south entrance. They're armed."
As if on cue, a beat-up panel van, its headlights off and engine screaming, burst through the factory gates, heading straight towards their position. The passenger window rolled down, revealing the contorted face of a man who could only be described as a geriatric biker gang member, his leathery skin stretched taut over a skull-like visage, a snarl twisting his lips as he raised a sawed-off shotgun.
"Hit the gas, Gigi!" Jojo yelled, his voice barely audible above the wind whipping through the open windows.
Gigi, his foot flat on the accelerator, steered the truck towards a makeshift ramp, a pile of discarded pallets they had noticed earlier. The truck hit the ramp at speed, launching them into the air, the ground falling away beneath them as they hurtled towards the safety of the night.
"Holy shit!" Andy screamed, his knuckles white as he gripped the dashboard. "We're going to die!"
"Not if I can help it," Gigi muttered, his eyes narrowed in concentration as he fought to control the truck's trajectory.
They landed with a bone-jarring thud, the truck's suspension protesting loudly as they bounced and swerved, narrowly avoiding a concrete barrier. The van, its driver caught off guard by their aerial maneuver, swerved to avoid a collision, careening off the road and plunging into the murky depths of a drainage ditch. They had escaped, for now. But the Loofah Mafia, they knew, would not be easily deterred. The battle for the villages had just begun.
"Did we lose them?" Andy gasped, his voice a mixture of relief and terror.
He peered out the back window, his eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of pursuit.
"Not yet," Anthony growled, his hand never straying far from the revolver tucked into his waistband. "They're still back there, those geriatric bastards. They're like cockroaches, they never die."
"There!" he shouted, his voice barely audible above the roar of the engine and the wind whipping through the open windows. "The old drawbridge. If we can make it across before they raise it, we might just lose them for good."
The drawbridge, a relic from a bygone era when the villages were nothing more than a sleepy backwater, stretched across a narrow channel of water, its rusted steel girders silhouetted against the night sky. It was a long shot, A desperate gamble, but it was their only hope.
Hold on! Gigi yelled, slamming his foot down on the accelerator. The truck surged forward, its engine screaming in protest as they raced towards the bridge, the van's headlights growing larger in the rearview mirror.
The following morning, bathed in the harsh glare of the Florida sun, the four companions huddled around the television in their living room, nursing their collective hangover and trying to make sense of the previous night's events. The local news, usually a mundane parade of gardening tips and community theater announcements, was dominated by a single shocking story: the fire at the Loofah Mafia's factory. Authorities are investigating the possibility of arson, the news anchor announced, her voice a study in practiced neutrality. The fire, which completely destroyed the warehouse and its contents, is estimated to have caused millions of dollars in damage. Thankfully, there were no reported injuries.
Millions of dollars, huh? He drawled. Those geezers sure knew how to run a business. This is madness. Absolute madness, he muttered. We've started a war with a bunch of geriatric gangsters over loofahs.
We need to lay low for a while, he said, his voice serious. Those old coots might be slow, but they're ruthless. They'll be looking for revenge.
Section 3, The Loofah Legacy, A New Era in the Villages. Weeks turned into months, and the dust settled on the ashes of the Loofah Mafia's factory. To everyone's surprise, the authorities never connected them to the fire. The incident, chalked up to faulty wiring and an overzealous sprinkler system, faded into the annals of the village's history, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones at bingo nights and shuffleboard tournaments. With the Loofah Mafia out of the picture, a new era dawned on the villages. Gone were the days of coded messages and clandestine transactions. The retirement community, once a hotbed of repressed desires and whispered fantasies, embraced a newfound openness, a celebration of life's twilight years lived on their own terms. Jojo, Andy, Gigi, and Anthony, their reputations as unlikely heroes preceding them, found themselves at the forefront of this cultural revolution. Their loofah and bandana business, once a clandestine operation run out of a garage, transformed into a thriving enterprise, a testament to their entrepreneurial spirit and their unique understanding of the village's hidden desires. They opened a shop, a brightly painted storefront on the main drag, its shelves stocked with a dazzling array of loofahs, bandanas, and other items catering to a wide range of tastes and desires. Their clientele, once limited to a select few willing to brave the whispers and coded messages, expanded to include a diverse cross-section of the village's population, eager to embrace their newfound freedom of expression. Section 4, The High Life Living the Dream, one loofah at a time. The success of their business, fueled by a combination of savvy marketing, high-quality products, and a healthy dose of good luck, exceeded their wildest expectations. They became local celebrities, their faces gracing the pages of the community newsletter, and their exploits recounted with a mixture of amusement and admiration at cocktail parties and golf outings. They moved out of their shared ranch house and into a sprawling mansion overlooking the golf course, a monument to their newfound wealth and success. They replaced Gigi's beat-up pickup truck with a collection of luxury cars, their engines rumbling through the quiet streets of the villages like a symphony of internal combustion. But despite their newfound wealth and status, they never forgot their roots. They remained fiercely loyal to their friends and employees, many of whom were retirees who had found a new lease on life working for their unconventional company. They became pillars of the community, sponsoring local events, donating generously to charities, and using their platform to advocate for the rights of seniors to live their lives with dignity and joy. And so, as the sun set each day over the villages, casting long shadows across the manicured lawns and casting a warm glow on the faces of its residents, Jojo, Andy, Gigi, and Anthony could look back on their journey with a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. They had come to the villages seeking a quiet retirement, but they had found something far more rewarding: a purpose, a community, and a whole lot of colorful fun. Section 1, The Loofah Revolution, a triumph of individuality. The villages, once a haven of unspoken desires and coded messages, had blossomed into a haven of self-expression. The Loofah Mafia's downfall had inadvertently shattered the stifling conformity that had held sway for so long. The seniors of the villages, liberated from the shadows, embraced their newfound freedom with a gusto that surprised even our four unlikely heroes. Gone were the days of furtive glances and whispered arrangements. The golf courses, once battlegrounds for subtle signals and coded messages, transformed into vibrant displays of individuality. golf carts adorned with brightly colored loofahs and personalized bandanas became mobile expressions of their owners' personalities, their whims, their desires. The ripple effects of JoJo's explosive intervention extended far beyond the realm of loofahs and bandanas. The seniors of the villages, inspired by the quartet's audacity, began to question other unspoken rules and social norms. A spirit of rebellion, a celebration of individuality, swept through the community, breathing new life into the manicured lawns and meticulously planned streets. The community center, once a bastion of bingo nights and bridge tournaments, became a hub of activity, hosting everything from salsa dancing classes to amateur theater productions. The retirement community, once a byword for quiet conformity, had found its voice, its energy, its zest for life. Section 2, Echoes of Laughter, Life After the Mafia. Back at the mansion, life had settled into a comfortable rhythm. The echoes of the Loofah Mafia's threats had faded into distant memory, replaced by the sounds of laughter, camaraderie, and the occasional splash as JoJo attempted yet another cannonball into the pool. They had grown accustomed to their newfound wealth, but their hearts remained tethered to the community that had embraced them, their success forever intertwined with the vibrant tapestry of life in the villages. They had become more than just entrepreneurs, more than just unlikely heroes. They were woven into the very fabric of this strange and wonderful place. Their days were filled with a mixture of work and play, their business ventures balanced by leisurely rounds of golf, poolside barbecues, and impromptu jam sessions in their home studio, Gigi's collection of vintage guitars providing the soundtrack to their laughter-filled evenings. Andy, his initial reservations about the villages long forgotten, had embraced the Florida lifestyle with surprising enthusiasm. He had traded in his tweed jacket for a collection of Hawaiian shirts, his days spent tending to his beloved orchids and perfecting his tan by the pool. Anthony, his gruff exterior softened by the warmth of the Florida sun, and the camaraderie of his friends, had finally found peace. His past demons exorcised by the tranquility of his surroundings and the satisfaction of a life well lived. Section 3, Sunset Over the Villages, a legacy of color and camaraderie. As the years passed, the legend of the Loofah Wars became a tale whispered around campfires, a story passed down from one generation of retirees to the next, a reminder that life's twilight years could be just as vibrant, just as unpredictable, as the years that had come before. The villages, forever changed by JoJo's explosive intervention, thrived, a testament to the enduring power of individuality, community, and a healthy dose of mischief. The streets, once patrolled by golf carts bearing coded messages, were now a kaleidoscope of color and self-expression, a testament to the enduring human spirit, its capacity for joy, and its refusal to be defined by age or circumstance. And what of our four heroes, the unlikely revolutionaries who had dared to challenge the status quo and unleash a wave of change upon the villages? They remained, as always, at the heart of it all, their laughter echoing through the manicured streets, their friendship a beacon of warmth and camaraderie, in a world that often seemed determined to extinguish such things. They had found their paradise, their own peculiar version of the American dream, amidst the palm trees and shuffleboard courts of the villages, a place where the sun always seemed to shine a little brighter, where the drinks were always cold, and where the laughter, like the vibrant colors of 1,000 loofahs, never seemed to fade.